Good morning all. Long awaited video. Another game day today, Brighton away, or this evening. Very, very excited for that. Chance to get back, kickstart our season and get back on to winning ways. But we're going to look into the past for this video. So before I get started, please like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, all that stuff. I'm going to try and grow the channel if I can. And anything like that would be much appreciated. So last Sunday, Super Sunday, Liverpool at St James's Park. This one really hurt. I've tried to avoid talking about it. I've got stick on football, football like Facebook groups, message groups, WhatsApp groups, all that sort of stuff. My brother and my dad are Liverpool fans. I haven't heard from my dad, which is nice in regards to the game. My brother has been very kind about it, to be fair. He did ring me pissed up that evening, and we lost signal, thankfully. But we have got this sort of unwritten rule that we don't rub it in too much. I actually watched the game at St James's, the 2-0 defeat last season with my dad and my brother, and it was nice I didn't rub it in. But anyway, what happened, eh? It was a dream. It was a frantic start. The first 10 or 15 minutes, neither team could keep the ball. It was spicy, it was aggressive, it was a charged atmosphere. I don't want to say spite, that's the wrong word, because I'd never associated the St James's Park crowd with spite. But the tension and the animosity from last season, particularly the Anfield game at last season, was carried on. Obviously, the game at Anfield last season, which we'll remember, they scored, I think it was 4 or 5 minutes at a time, they scored in the 98th minute to win the game. Klopp said it was a win for football. We were heavily criticised. It's the first time I'd ever seen a losing team booed off the pitch, a losing away team booed off the pitch. The venom, the spite, and just the aggression from the Anfield crowd towards our team that night was not on at all. It was a disgrace in my book. But there we go. That carried on to this game. So you had tackles flying in. The crowd were up for it. To be fair, that the Scousers up in the gods behind the goal were you could hear them on the TV. They were being drowned out, obviously, by the capacity majority home crowd, but you could still hear them a little bit. It was a bit of a dream start. Alexander-Arnold got yellow carded for throwing the ball, which I thought was harsh, but those are the new rules. He was sort of bundled into touch and threw the ball in frustration. That was a yellow card. Ironically, the other offence, which was definitely a yellow card, when he sort of shoved, he bounced Anthony Gordon off. It was a definite foul. He got away with that. Now, that was definitely a yellow card in the first one. If I was in charge of the rules, that's not a yellow card, but there we go. He was lucky to stay on the field. I think then we went 1-0 up. Ironically, Trent involved again. The ball was put through. He goes to, I think, trap it, and it just rolls under his studs. Anthony Gordon. I think Alisson got a touch to it, but it was a good finish. It was a confident finish. What a start for us. Then Virgil van Dijk gets sent off. Looked to me like he got the ball, but I think he got the man, then the ball, even though I thought it was a harsh red card. I'm surprised it didn't go to VAR. There's the whole thing about the last man, goal scoring opportunity, etc. You know, you've got to say it was a goal. He did deny goal scoring opportunity because it's our centre forward. It's in the attacking third of the pitch. if Van Dijk wasn't there, he's through 1-on-1 in the centre of the pitch. It's not like he was wide, like Emi Martinez was against Miggy Almiron when we played Villa. It was pretty much out on the touchline, wasn't it? This is in a goal-scoring area, centre of the pitch. Centre, of the width of the pitch. So it's probably the right decision. Obviously, Klopp was raging. Van Dijk's been punished for his comments. I'm not going to go into that because I don't know exactly what he said. But we're in cruise control. 1-0 up against 10 men at home. You're thinking, oh, this is a dream scenario. I was watching it with a Man United fan, my brother-in-law, and we were absolutely loving it. The first half, I thought we controlled the game. We weren't creating an awful lot of opportunities. I think Miggy had some decent opportunities, but we were controlling the game. Isak looked sharp. He wasn't getting a lot of the ball, but he looked sharp. Tonali looked good. Bruno looked improved. Joe Linton looked like he was having a good time out there. It was good. Second half, a lot closer. I thought again Tonali was good. Gordon, my word, for the whole time he was on the pitch, he was a constant threat, constant menace. Trent did not look comfortable with his pace at all. So then it was a surprise that Eddie took off probably our two best performers in Anthony Gordon, left wing, and Sandro Tonali in the midfield. And I'm not saying their replacements were at fault, but that seemed to change the momentum. Eddie said yesterday in his presser that the reason he made the substitutions was because it felt like the game was slipping away from us. I'm not gonna question Eddie Howe. However, I would have thought perhaps, considering Miggy Almiron, although Miggy had a couple of good chances, he had a volley in the second half which was parried onto the bar or the post. I remember. He had another chance which Alisson saved, and then he went on one of his winding runs and hit the post. So you could say that Almiron was more involved in, more likely looking to score a second goal than Anthony Gordon. Excuse me, but Miggy Almiron, I'm a big fan of his work rate and his running, but he does look, he's so predictable, isn't he? You know exactly what he's going to do. He's coming in on that left foot if he can. So I perhaps would have liked to see Harvey Barnes go on the right-hand side. Or even, I wanted to keep Anthony Gordon on the left because he was causing Trent some real problems and he did not look comfortable at all. However, you could have put Anthony Gordon at right wing and then given Harvey Barnes over to Trent Alexander-Arnold to deal with. As it happened, Gordon came off and Barnes came on. I think Sean Longstaff came on for Sandro Tonali. I think Anderson came on for Joe Linton. And we all know what happened. The first Liverpool goal, both goals were sensational finishes. I'm not taking anything away from Núñez. Fantastic. But they're only 2 shots on target. I believe it might have been their only 2 shots in the game. Okay. The first one, we're a bit unlucky because the ball sort of put through and it comes off Sven Botman's back. He's turning to see where the ball is. And by the time it sort of bounced off him, he's wrong-footed and Núñez goes through in a great finish. The second one, Botman's already come off with an ankle injury at this point. I think Matt Targett goes on at left back, Dan Burns in at left centre-back. Salah, great pass through. Burn doesn't have the pace to deal with Núñez, which is not a mad criticism of Dan Burn because Núñez is rapid. And again, another fantastic finish into the far corner. I see Jason Tyndall's getting a lot of stick from the vast majority of football fans who aren't Newcastle for giving Klopp that, and then Klopp obviously had the last laugh and give it back to him. So on TalkSport, Jim White was saying, "Oh, is it necessary?" We're talking about Tyndall. Is it necessary for him, to behave like that? And I'm glad Simon Jordan stuck up for him, saying, "Well, perhaps it isn't, but Klopp's hardly well behaved, is he? That you've seen the way he tries to bully other managers, and he would." The way they behaved last year at Anfield. So it didn't hurt for someone to give Klopp a bit of his own medicine. However, he had the last laugh, didn't he? Doing the Anfield fist bump away from home. They really don't like us, do they? But that's fine because I'm starting to not like Liverpool at all. We'll see you at Anfield, Liverpool. A lot of people getting on Eddie Howe's back for those substitutions. If he had his time again, he probably would have done something different. But it's all about learning, isn't it? We're at the top table in the Champions League, but we're not one of the top teams yet, okay? It's still early days. People still forget. This time, 2 seasons ago, we were dire. Not even 2 years ago, 20 months ago, we were diabolical. Last season, we would have all been happy with a top 10 finish. Maybe a run at the Conference League, trying to qualify for the Conference League or the Europa League. This is the start of the season, and a good run in the Cups. We finished 4th in the new ownership's first full season in charge, Eddie Howe's first full season in charge, we finished 4th and made a cup final. So time for some people to taper their expectations a little bit. But Villa at home, City away, Liverpool at home, and today Brighton away. That's a bloody hard start to the season. As we've seen, we've just drawn Man City in the cup and the League Cup, and got Borussia Dortmund, Paris Saint-Germain, and AC Milan in the Champions League. I can't remember the fixtures have just been released. I can't remember the exact order. I know we've got Paris Saint-Germain 28th of November. I know AC Milan away. I think it's AC Milan away, Paris Saint-Germain at home. Then you've got the 2 Dortmund games. Then it's Paris Saint-Germain away and AC Milan at home. It's the final group game. So it'd be very interesting to see what happens there. Injury-wise, Joe Linton, I think they're going to make a late call on him. I think they're going to make a late call on Sven Botman, but I don't expect to see Sven Botman play today. It's reported by Craig Hope and Kevin Downey, etc., that the injury wasn't as bad as first thought. However, and Eddie said in his presser, there is an injury there. He's only done a bit of light jogging this week, so I don't, especially with the international break coming up, chance for players to get some good rest and good recovery and some solid training in. I don't expect Eddie to risk him because it is an injury now. It's not a serious injury. If he tweaks it before it's fully recovered, again, it could turn into something a lot worse. So that begs the question, who's the back 4 going to be? The obvious choice would be to put Dan Burn in Sven Botman's place, because left-sided centre-back, left footer, it's a natural fit. And put Matt Targett in at left-back. However, there does seem to be this obsession in modern-day football that your left-sided centre-back needs to be left-footed. Not necessarily. You look at 2 of the best Premier League centre-back partnerships from my youth, or early teens, etc. Rio Ferdinand and Nemanja Vidic, both right-footed players. John Terry, Ricardo Carvalho, both right-footed players. John Terry played left-sided centre-back for his whole career pretty much and excelled. Obviously, we don't have a prime John Terry, but we could see Dan Burn stay at left-back. You could see Jamal Lascelles coming at left-sided centre-back. You could see Fabian Schär moved over onto the left side of the centre half position, and Jamal Lascelles come in there. I think the obvious choice, though, is to put Dan Burn in alongside Fabian Schär and put Matt Targett out wide. However, we might see Trippier put at left back if he doesn't, because Howe doesn't seem to fancy Matt Targett all that much. We could see Trippier at left back and Tino at right back. We could see Trippier at right back and Lewis Hall at left back. That's the least likely, I think. I think Eddie, with Lewis Hall being so young, Eddie's going to bed him in slowly. The odd substitute appearance here. I would say Carabao Cup, but City away. City at home, sorry. He'll get some games in the FA Cup, I imagine. So who knows? If, like I said, my money is on Dan Burn taking Sven's place with Targett out wide. Manquillo is another option at left back. He's played left back a few times. I think he played left back against Man United a few years ago and did okay. So it's going to be interesting to see. Midfield, I expect, if Joe Linton's not fit, it's going to be very interesting what happens, because obviously if the ideal person to bring in would be Joe Willock, because he can play very, very well on that left side of the midfield, integrating with the wingers, swapping around, and he plays that position perfectly. Sean Longstaff likes the right side of the 3, which is currently occupied by Sandro Tonali. And Tonali, I don't think he's doing anything wrong, anything to warrant being dropped. So my prediction would be, if Joe Linton's not fit, Elliot Anderson will occupy the left-sided central midfield role with Bruno in the middle. We've got Bruno in the middle, and Sandro Tonali right-sided central midfield. However, we could see a Sean Longstaff slot into the middle with Bruno going left and giving him a bit more attacking licence. Who knows? I can't see any different for the front three. I think Harvey Barnes is always going to play left wing. If he had played a bit more right wing, I would say he would come in for Miggy. But I don't think you can drop Gordon from that left wing at the minute, 'cause he's been sensational against Liverpool. He was brilliant against Villa. And he struggled against City, but all of our players did. I think it might be a chance to give Wilson a start. I don't think Isak's done anything wrong. He's not been given any chances, has he? I think he had one sort of half chance against Liverpool. He didn't have anything to go off against City, and then he scored twice against Villa. So it might be a chance to give Callum a run at things and then bring Isak on late on. So yeah, I'm going to go with Anthony Gordon left wing, Miguel Almiron right wing, Callum Wilson through the middle, a midfield three of Anderson, Bruno, then Tonali, then a back four of Matt Targett, Dan Burn, Fabian Schär, Kieran Trippier, and obviously Nick Pope in goal. So that would give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 British players, 6 English players, and 1 Scot. Well done, Elliot Anderson, being called up for Scotland as well. Forgot to mention that. Very pleased for him. But yeah, that's enough of me rambling now. I've got that Liverpool result out of my system now. It's onwards, down at the Annex today. Brighton Hove Albion away. Going to be a very tough game. The last time we faced them, beat them 4-1 at St James's Park. It was 0-0 early on in the season, last season at the Annex. So we haven't lost to Brighton for a while, for a bit. So hopefully we can continue that. A draw wouldn't be a bad result, but considering we've only picked up 3 points out of 9 so far, 4 out of 10 would feel a little bit but a draw wouldn't be a bad result. I think we just got to avoid defeat. 3 on the bounce. Nowhere near crisis time. Nowhere near time to start worrying. But it would just leave a bit of a sour taste in the mouth, you know. But there we go. Up the tune. Like I said, please like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you again. Cheers.